The name of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. Tonight's guest, for the 20th time, is my father, Max Bendich. Welcome to the show, Pop.
Okay. To be continued.
To be continued. That's at 20 and going strong, right?
Getting stronger.
I know. So last episode we talked about acting, and it's been really, it was something that I was very interested in, because I stumbled into it when I went to California, right? And you kind of stumbled into it initially in California by doing some work. I got you as an extra on Cagney and Lacey and some other shows that I was working on. And did you realize at that time, that there would be a future in it for you? I'm just curious.
No. The future, again, our lives. Right. The future was the day we were living.
Right.
We knew one thing: we were doing the best thing we can today. Right. When tomorrow came, we were going to do the same thing.
But I also think, at the same time, though, if I recall, you had young grandchildren, and you were spending time with them. You wanted, I think that one thing that acting does do, it takes you away from the family, right? I mean, would you say? Yes. I mean, it takes you away to, you have to go on auditions. You might have to study. You have to work, whatever it is.
I had more fun being with the family than being with anything else. And again, you know it, and I want everyone else to know it, so that they relive their lives. And when Aaron was born, and I don't remember the age, to 1 or 2, Mom and I would come to you almost every day, because.
I'll tell you what happened. Mommy used to watch Aaron 3 days a week, right? And you'd come too, but Mom would, because Wendy was working.
All right.
So you would come. You'd go to the club first,
right.
But then you'd come and spend time with Aaron.
Yeah, and we would play games. What did I remember? You had a couch. Right. He would hide behind there, and I would go looking for him.
That's it. He would play hide and go seek, but he'd always go behind he'd always go behind a chair.
And looking for him, and I couldn't find him. Here I am. But that wasn't nothing. You had a carriage, and Alan, this was my life. I would take him out and put him in how it was in the carriage.
Right.
And I would walk up and down, and first of all, it was a beautiful day. It was always a beautiful day when we came, up and down. And what did I do? I sang him years songs and folk songs.
Right, I know.
And while I'm doing this, up and down, somebody across the street, sees me and hears me doing it.
Right.
And all of a sudden, one day, and from that day on, she and I think her husband also, I don't remember, came and followed me. And I would sing, Alfem Pripechek. Why? I want, as I said before, when they were born, I've had them in my arms, and I sang Alfem Pripechek. And my words were, these are the first year's songs that you hear. I hope you're going to hear more, you just said. And what did I do? I sang those songs back and forth. It was a wonder, Alan, for me, it was a wonder. And these people were amazed how I'm feeling doing these things. Again, that made me feel good.
Right. And those people, again, I mean, we mentioned them before, but their last name was Liss.
Their last name was the same as Wendy's name.
Right.
And not related.
Nice people. They went to Camp Unity like you did.
Yes, they knew every song.
I know. They were good people.
And again, and one of the things I hope that, and they must have remembered the songs.
Well, someone does remember the songs. I'll tell you why. Because Aaron has a show now at Vassar, and it's called Life is Good, by the way. I wonder where he got that name from, Dad. And it's on tonight. We're shooting tonight on a Tuesday, and it's on Tuesday night at 9:30. Online you could hear it, but it's up in Poughkeepsie, and he also has another radio show. But the 9:30 show is all folk music, and what he plays is Woody Guthrie, Leadbelly, Pete Seeger, and mostly the old singers, and he considers those the original folk singers. So,
but again, if you like to go back to one of the episodes, this is what, and I had a 2-family house,
right,
and the garage was never used for cars. They were used for and at that time, I was lucky. I knew one thing. The records were going out of style.
Right.
And so the 88s became 93s. Right. And eventually the 93s were going out of style.
Wait a minute, the records, the 78s became 33s.
33. And right. Whatever it is.
Yeah. 45s and then 33s.
There were 93.
93.
93.
Okay.
And what was happening, the record stores were becoming something else. And they were stocked with records, and they were selling them. Let's say they were, I don't know, I'll give you $2 or something. Right. I would get them for $0.25, and if you buy a lot of them, even for 15 cents.
Right.
And Alan, if I bought records, later on, I bought by the hundreds.
I know.
And what were the records? Only two things: classical music and folk music. Right. Yiddish. Sometimes there were Yiddish.
And then some of them were show. You had some show music, show tunes. As well.
But everything. I had everything. Yeah. And little by little, years would go by, and your son Aaron loved these music.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. Really, when you guys decided to move to the assisted living or to the independent living,
yes.
There were hundreds and hundreds of records that we were going to leave behind in the house. And Aaron called me up, and he said, "I want all of them." So we took thousands of records.
I know, Alan. I had,
and we have them in the house.
When I bought them for $0.25 or less than that, I'm not lying. Many of them we didn't even use.
Right. No, they're brand new. They're beautiful. And not only that, though, there's some of them that are so. I mean, there's certain old Folkways albums and original Woody Guthrie albums that you can't buy. They don't make them anymore.
They're worth a lot of money. I know.
And we're going to throw them out.
I don't even want. Yes. What do you do with them? Right. Something else. Where I am now, the assistant living, so we get new people. We get new, and we sometimes they bring down not records, CDs.
Right.
And I speak to them, and I had records. What did you do with them? Why didn't you? We threw them out, or we gave them to different people.
Same thing. It's the same thing like baseball cards. I mean, and these things, they're not made. I mean, they're not going to make a '78 anymore.
No, nothing.
Those things will never be made again, and we have them. But that's, again, it's interesting. It's interesting that Aaron is interested in them. He's still interested in doing. They call it, playing vinyl. That's the way. That's the cool way of saying playing records now is playing vinyl, and. He plays vinyl on his radio show.
And Cara likes them also. And
well, Cara's music is different than Aaron's. Cara is more of a modern music lover.
But still interested in the old, why? Because the tunes.
Right.
It isn't the idea. The tunes make you feel good. Those old-fashioned tunes, you sit back, and the smile on your face, and the dreamy look.
Yeah, but Aaron really is the connoisseur of the old music, and he knows more about Pete Seeger and Paul Robeson than you do, and Woody Guthrie. I mean, when he gets into music, he doesn't stop. It just keeps on going and going and going, and it's incredible. I mean, when he becomes interested in something. There's no end to his interest. And to me, that's a wonderful thing to say about it. Yeah.
Again, I think I told this, you opened up, you said Paul Robeson. I know Paul Robeson personally. He gave us a check for $100. We had to cash it. We wanted to cash it for him. Yeah. And I showed it to my father, and I said, "Look at this. I'm never going to give." What are you talking about? We need that money. Put it in the bank.
I wonder how much that check would have been worth today.
I don't know. But something differently. His wife.
Yes.
His wife and Bubby, your grandmother, became wonderful friends. Wow. And I have in the house, Alan, a book. She went to Africa, and she came back. Narelda, whatever
the name is.
Robeson. And she came back with the book that she wrote, and she signed it to my friend. Now, she didn't know, it was Ellen, Mom, to my friend Helen.
Okay.
But she called her always.
That's okay.
And she even wanted to change this. I said, "No, you're not going to change." And we have that book. I have many books. that people were going to throw out, signed by the author.
I know.
And they still threw books out, even though...
That's it. That's the same thing like with records. People throw their books out.
That they're good. And that, I was going
to... The other thing that's interesting, like we went to, there was an open school thing up in Vassar, and we came up for the weekend. And the same day, Pete Seeger was signing a book that he wrote. And so instead of buying the book, Aaron bought an album around the corner at one of the used album shops, and Pete Seeger signed the album. And I have pictures of Aaron and Pete Seeger together. And I mean, that was a great shot. It took, we got some beautiful, I mean, just the idea that Aaron is interested, it's amazing how it just goes from one generation to the next. It's,
well, hey, so you don't mind if I say, I think I had a little to do with it.
Oh, no, you had a lot.
Wait a minute, no, jokingly. Because in the beginning of his life, I sang those songs.
Absolutely. That's how we got here.
And that is, again, our family, Alan, is terrific.
Absolutely. And now we're doing the acting, which is fun. And, I think I'm getting more pleasure out of seeing you succeed in acting. When I look at that picture, again, going back to Elapsed that we talked about before, to see that, that you're in this film that touches people's hearts, to me is it's remarkable, because you could have just as easily just been sitting around in the club, at Cathay House, doing nothing. But instead, you made this thing that is beautiful and people appreciate it. So it's a matter of just getting off your backside and just doing things, And I think a lot of people just wind up sitting on their backside,
That's something else. And again, we might as well give a commercial, not to one place, to the umbrella. It's important for elderly people, so-called elderly. I don't know what age.
Right.
Maybe before that. Why am I saying that age?
Important for what?
To eventually go into one of these assisted living.
Right.
Only for one reason. There's a time eventually it's going to come that you should be taken care of. Right. You're healthy, but you can't shovel snow, or you can't do this, or besides that, again, some people can't walk, and some people this, and you have to go in there.
Right.
And you're lucky if you could, even though, like you said, I'm doing this differently, and I'm happy about that.
Right.
One day is the same as another day, the same as another day.
Right. But you've changed that dynamic in your life.
Yes,
like
in my life.
Now, your life is that, you're always looking forward to the next audition, or you're looking forward to the filming something, or coming to this show, whatever it is. You have things to look forward to. And you had things to look forward to even with people coming to visit you, Mimi, David, whatever, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren. But I think, a lot of people at where you are now don't have those things to look forward to. And they just are, one day is the same as the next.
Yes. But, and it's sad, first of all, the children have no time for the parents.
Right.
They work, both of them work. Their children have to do this, and they have no time. What do you do? And eventually, both of them or one of them die. I mean, one die. And what are we going to do with Mom, or what are we going to do with Pop? And we have to put them in there. And they put them in there.
Right.
And then to visit them is a very difficult thing. And I realize that. I don't.
Well, you know what? I'll be honest. It was more difficult to visit you than it is to have you on this show and to take you out on auditions. It's a different dynamic when I call you up and I say, listen, we got an audition, I got to take you, versus I'm going to come over to that place and visit it. So I'm telling you, it's a different thing. And maybe it's a terrible thing I'm saying, but it's true. It's much easier for me to come to your house, leave my family, leave work early, take you on an audition, than it is to leave my house, leave work early, to come and just to visit you. And I don't know why, but that's a fact.
All right. And Alan, I told you, I accept it. Why? Again, I told you in the Army, I was in a signal corps, and I was able to take pictures. I had a camera, and I took pictures. Alan, Just
I know, hundreds.
Right. And the pictures at that time, you get a roll of film, you put it in a box camera, and you give it to be what is it?
Processed.
Processed,
right.
And you get back pictures.
Right.
So I can give you this picture, or you can get that picture, make three. Nowadays, you have those phony, to me, they're phony.
You mean one of these things like this?
That's right.
Like this thing here?
And how many? 500 or 1,000?
Million.
More than. When I hear that 1,000, what good is it? How often do you see?
Well, you know what I do? I put them on Facebook, right. or I actually videotape Aaron. Aaron's doing tomorrow. Aaron is going to be doing a concert. If I go visit him, I'm going to use this camera to videotape his concert. I mean, you couldn't do that with a box camera.
But again, I don't know why the other people, maybe they don't know. Somebody in the family, I don't know, went to we have first of all, I have a computer in the house.
Right.
I always had a computer.
Right.
And I only did, in the beginning, it's something called AOL, and I was, you have mail, and I did everything that you had to do,
right.
And I also played games. Now when we're in this assisted living thing, you have a computer, if you want to be online, it's going to cost you $30 a month.
Right.
Anything else you could have besides that.
Right.
Now, if I were online, Alan, what would I be doing? I'd be looking at movies and more movies and more movies.
But you know what else you might be doing, Dad? One thing you don't have, maybe you would have more, I mean, you do go on the computer now and the internet,
right.
But you only, basically what you're doing is watching The Way to Go and some other movies, basically, right? And maybe listening to some music. But if you had it upstairs, maybe you'd have a Facebook account, or maybe you'd be able to communicate with family a little bit more. And there's, that's...
When would I have the time? So, Michael is my grandson, a doctor.
Right.
He said to me, Zadie, take a nap.
Right.
From that moment on, my life changed.
I know.
I couldn't go out with this person or with that. And Alan, I've been taking a nap every single day from that time.
Right.
Now that's whatever the amount of time it takes it away. If you from
You're
this,
right. And the other thing is, I will say this: your health improved 1,000% since you started taking naps.
Yes, and I never. And
so
I
Michael
was fighting
right.
it.
Michael
Alan,
was right.
I was fighting it.
I know.
It's a waste of time. Look at me. I'm doing fine.
But now you're doing so much better as a result of that nap.
Because of that nap, I'm a different person.
Absolutely.
And I tell that to people, take a nap. They look at me like I'm crazy. And
you're 98 and a half years old, so let them look at you like you're crazy.
No, they're good people, Alan. I know, jokingly we're saying that, jokingly. And I look around and I see the same people. And again, I'm lucky that you and the rest of the people come to visit me. One time we had 18, Alan, we had, for one day, we had a room to ourselves. I remember
the whole family was there.
The whole
family.
When I tell you, the whole family came to visit.
But right now, I think the only time I do see you is when it's related to media, one way or another, whether it's the show or the video or the auditions. And, it's good. And it's, I like having a purpose. When I come to visit you, for some reason, I always felt like, okay, I'm going to come over, I'll eat some chocolate, we'll BS a little bit. Here, have this.
But.
Yes. And, we'll come and we'll have some time together. But I just love the idea that you're able now that your image is going to be around forever. That's the whole thing.
Something else. Besides that, I'm learning.
Yeah.
Alan, I'm learning. And I figured it. I have a lot of time.
Right.
I have a lot of time, and I'm going to be learning almost every single day something new.
Right.
And besides something new, I would go back a little to do it again, and come back again. And Alan, this is what's my future?
Yeah. Oops.
What's
my stomach?
No, everything, Alan, everything is going good.
Yeah. What's your future?
What's my future? to live well, and by well I mean healthy.
Right.
Right now, again, I want to tell you, I have trouble with my eye.
Right.
But no, everything, the operation was taken, everything else. and I believe this because we have doctors in the family.
Right.
Whatever the doctor tells me I do,
Right.
the pills I take,
Right.
everything, and I said that before,
Right.
and Alan, I feel good. My future is going to be the same thing, and it's going to be maybe one day after the other. One day, the future. It's not looking forward to the future way down there.
Right.
Even one day after the other is a terrific thing to talk about.
Right, and I'm looking forward every day. I go to these websites to try to get you another part.
All right.
And I'm always interested when I get a nibble. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking, okay, is he going to get this part? And then I start thinking, once you get the part, if there's a lot of words, I'm thinking, oh my God, is he going to be, because I have, if you have lines and lines, I've only done a couple of movies where I've had like multiple pages of lines. Because usually the days that I work on, I usually work a day on a movie or something like that, or maybe 2 days on a movie. So I'll have like maybe 5 pages, the max, of script. But some of the scripts I've given you are multiple pages, right?
Multiple pages, and I'm getting to do them well.
Right.
And after it's over, like you say, I'm finished. I go out, and another man comes in, and so far the people that came in, and they're good people. Right. Everything else, so I don't know what's in the director's mind, how old the people should be, because they need an older person.
Right.
And so
but you never know. You never know what they're looking for. That's the whole thing.
No, except one thing. Sometimes they tell you, and grandfather is 80 years old, so you know one thing, you're in.
Right. Really. Because usually when a person thinks 80, they could think about you, because there's because 98. No one understands what 98 means.
It means nothing.
It means nothing.
Alan, it means nothing.
But 80 means something. I mean, you could pass for 80.
Right.
You could pass for 70s.
You don't have to.
Right.
You live that way.
Right.
You know what you have, what you did. I think now that, and remember, I'm a big shot, I'm going to be an actor.
Right.
I think that it's more difficult for a young person to play the part of an older person because he doesn't understand the mechanics or something. The facial that can be done, the mechanics of it, than for an older person
to play the
part. And by being a younger one, it'll have to be about 60, 70, or not younger than that, because then it's a ridiculous thing to even think about.
Right.
And that's what I'm doing about. In other words, what I'm playing now, I'm doing right now is for my age. Which means nothing.
And the other thing is, though, one thing I would say, that if people wanted someone, let's say 75 and up, there's very few actors who are actually 75 and up.
Right.
So the thing is, though, I wish that, and I need it. They need actors for every age group.
I know it.
But the thing is, where do you find these, the breakdowns, that the character breakdowns, looking for these actors? That's the thing I'm still looking for that. I mean, I still have it in the regular places that I personally go to look for films. But there must be. I wonder if there's. I mean, maybe we can get you an agent.
Wait a minute. And so, well, no. Alan, no. Again, what you're saying.
Right.
I want to break it. I want to break it down. I tell you, to be my age, people die. It's a shame. People, and I think they could have more acting experience than anything. But if they need someone with approximately mine to about 15, in other words, to about 80, 85.
Or to 115. No, just kidding.
No, eventually, look, why not? Again, I'm feeling good. The numbers do not mean anything.
Right, that's
not
true.
Really.
But you know what, the interesting thing, though, you say that, because I was just thinking, I was listening to the news this morning, right? And President Obama today, or yesterday, because yesterday was Veterans Day, did something special for the oldest living World War II veteran, who's 107 years old, who still drives his pickup truck to church every Sunday picks up a nice lady. And I'm thinking, wait a second, my father's not that much.
That's
really not that much younger than that guy.
Meaning those numbers don't mean anything.
Right. I mean, and look at you. Look at you.
Again, I stopped driving for one reason. I was 93, I think. I don't remember the age. Whatever the age is, I had a car that you people bought for me, and I had a 2002 car, and I had about only 30,000.
24,000.
24,000.
It's Aaron's car now.
It's my grandson's car.
Yeah.
And I would drive back and forth and back and forth, and all of a sudden, I stopped.
Right.
Why, I do not know, but I said to myself, after watching everybody driving, it's better if I don't stop. And what did I do with the car? I gave it to Aaron. I gave it to Aaron. And
now he's driving back and forth from Vassar. So life is good.
Alan.
And acting, I'm going to continue sending you out, for, submitting your stuff.
I'm sure that whoever I see, the director, they like me.
I know.
Not knowing what I'm going to do, they like me. Why? Because I'm going to do work for them.
And the other thing is, how many 98-year-olds do they see still interested in life enough to go on these auditions, to just do it for fun, to still be in the game? You know what I mean?
And guess who talks about things like that? People in Kate House.
Right.
Why are you doing this? I said, take a look. Whoever thought I'm going to go downtown, ride around, and see the world trades this and that?
Right.
Who has time for that?
Try to find a parking spot so you can do your audition. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
But we have good times. I mean, you saw my boss. We stopped in the office on Sunday. You saw Jim. And you were in between two auditions, one at SVA and one at NYU. And to me, it's like, wow, that's how I started up again. It's like you're doing what I did, and you're doing it. You know what I mean? And it's just a matter of, and you're passionate about it. You want to do a great job.
And I think that's what I'm showing to these directors.
Absolutely.
I want to do.
You're passionate about it.
And the funny thing, do they know how? I don't tell them my age.
Oh no, it's on every submission.
Yes.
I say, I write it for you.
Yes.
I'm a 98-year-old actor.
Oh, so they know it now. All right. I thought I didn't know that. All right, good. I'm glad that they know that. Right. And what do they say? No, big shot. And I think so. I don't feel old, Alan.
And the other thing is, when you're doing this stuff, you seem even younger. You become more and more alive, energetic. And you know what? The problem with that is that, just like we talked before, the issue with all these shows is that, there's like a beginning, there's a middle, and guess where we are right now, Dad? It's the end. So there's one last thing I got to tell you, Pop. That's a wrap. Good night, everybody.